Hi everyone, here's your free weekend round guide. All 18 holes for the Summer Shores tournament. This is Oasis. Pin set number 2. Remember, these pins are tough, so don't be disheartened if the scores aren't as good as what you usually shoot. Please give me a thumb up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Massively appreciated. Timestamps are in the video description down below. And as always, you don't have to do these exact setups. They're only for reference. We have plenty of drops already for you though. Remember to take a token, put in some personal tweaks according to your clubs, balls and play style. Best of luck in the weekend round. Here we go. Nice wind angle here on this par 5. You don't have to use the precision ball. I was just using one to make getting the content easier. You can use a regular Kingmaker though. 4.5 top spin, half a bar of right spin. Red ring touching the rough on the left with APOC 5 and 6 at the top of plus 10. APOC 4, 20% of the red ring overlapping the rough at P3. Max rest. If you're lucky enough to have APOC 7, you'll have 80% of the blue ring inside the rough. I just did max plus 10 power 3 settings, centre the ball and hit perfect of course, and then we're going to bounce very nicely over the fairway and rolling out, and we're going to be setting up a sniper backspin shot. So we're rolling out there nicely, good consistent drive yardage for me, and that's been around 363 yards. We are going to make a fringe check here to work out our slider value. Bullseye over the beginning of the fringe in line with the pin. You can see there it's plus 8 with sniper 10. That will be plus 10 if you had sniper level 9. 5 backspin, 1 left spin. Once you've added spin, move the target back and find the position as follows. You will see the second bounce is just on the fringe and the tip of the ball guide is just under 1 green square to the right of the flag. Then we adjust 70% slider, 10% elevation. That's of course for the reference check in the video. Plus 8 with sniper 10, plus 10 with sniper 9. You go 2.5% per yard different to that. And I would like you to use sniper 10 numbers regardless of your club level. Important to get the offset correct here, deliberately aiming right of pin because that wind is going to push us nicely towards the cup, otherwise you will miss left. But we're dropping it very nicely there for the albatross. Nasty wind angle here. This is really just a safe birdie play. Set up with the quarterback with a Kingmaker, blue ring touching the rough on the right at P3 max rest. Then you're swapping to your APOC and sniper bag. 5.8 top spin. Then I'm adding half a bar of side spin to the right. We just want to aim down the middle. Max plus 0 on this one, max plus 0. Now, this is a bit of a tricky drive because if you hit a great ball with the shape of the fairway, you may roll off to the left or the right, depending on your club accuracy. So practice this one if you want to get comfortable with it. Of course, there are other alternatives. You could try playing to the left as well. But perfect ball away here is finding the fairway very nicely. Obviously, if you want to great proof it, you can do. The first bounce is not far away from the rough, so if you want to great proof it, you could aim more left and then play with a bit of right curl. But anyway, want to be around 340. We can play rings from min here, so find the min line with your sniper. Then I push up 5 rings to get in the middle of the fairway pad, and then I'm adding spin. 2.2 top spin, 3 left spin. You can see there I'm moving around a little bit, and it's a very consistent landing point, so try and find that one if you can. If you don't want to count rings from min, estimate your true club distance and play at 20% elevation. Because I pushed up 5 rings from min, I play this one 13% on the slider. Now, don't go with any more curl than this. This is only a speculative attempt to see if I could dial in anything close to the eagle. If you hit a great left and you're going with the curl, you might catch the rough. As you can see there, a couple of green squares away, but priority is the safe birdie. With this par 3, we're going to play with the Kingmaker and we are going to add spin. And I would like you to tweak the backspin here. I go with 2.9 in the video and I think you should try 3. Always going with 3 left spin. Red ring touching the rough on the left with the Grizzly 9, that is at the top of plus 0. Grizzly 7 and 8, you will be at the top of plus 3. Like I said, tweak the backspin. Might need a wind angle tweak or wind strength tweak as well. But this is a very, very close miss for you to build from. The adjustment I'm using in the video is mid plus 10 power 3 and I'm using Grizzly 9 numbers, and I would like you to do the same, because lower level of Grizzly has the same accuracy. So even though there's different distance, you still want to be using a Grizzly 9 numbers. So mid plus 10, P3, one ball of curl to the left just before the circle drops as our overpower reference. And if you want to tweak it or two, then by all means you can do. Rough bump might be worth investigating as well, but there is a very close miss on this par 3. Nasty one here, NMT with the quarterback and a power 5 ball. Then we switch to APOC and add spin. 5.8 top spin, 2 right spin. I would really recommend you go with the Luminary here. I'm using a precision one just to help me hit perfect. You don't have to, but obviously it does help to hit perfect here. So once we've done our club switch from P5 NMT with the quarterback, we're going to adjust max plus 0, obviously with the APOC numbers. Power 5 settings, you can see it takes me to plus 19. I've got room even if I was using an APOC 4. Full overpower, semi-shaky needle, which is why the precision helps. Try and hit perfect, and we're going to bounce over very nicely here, clearing the rough, and then we're rolling down the fairway, and we're going to be around a drive distance of 370 yards. Now, I'm going to give this a go for the eagle. It's a very close miss, but with a sniper, I'm trying here with a 4.5 backspin and 1 bar side spin to the left. Then I find my position here with the inner ring touching the rough line, and the ball guide, you can see the left edge of the ball guide is just touching the right edge of the cup. I'm going to give you a tweaked value here. This is not what I did in the video, but the one on the notepad and in the commentary should get you in, or at least closer, and then you can tweak further from that. Landing position of plus 12 with sniper 10, that will be plus 14 with sniper 9. I'd like you to play that 80% slider, 10% elevation, and we're still using power 5 numbers. Obviously, the power 5 ball does help. This is a very nasty wind angle. Because we are just down into a lower point, I go with circle drop overpower. It is important. You need to do that, otherwise you are going to come in really short here, at least a ring short. So don't forget circle drop overpower. The tweak that I've given you, I hope, will get you in for the eagle if you want to go with the Luminary. Got a nice hole-in-one here. Red ring touching the sand at the top of plus 10 with sniper level 10, and that would be top of plus 12 with sniper level 9. Then we are going to add spin, and it's a weird spin combination here, but it works. 0.8 top spin, 2.6 left spin, so it's kind of 1 click more than 2.5. Take a token or two, get a feel for it. Obviously, lower level sniper, you may have to use a power 4 ball or something to set up, so just bear that in mind if you can't get the same landing position. 1-to-1 adjust, I would recommend you keep the wind below 8, because I've not tested this in anything higher. So 7.8 in wind, giving me 7.8 rings. Don't worry about adjusting into the bunker. It's been working nicely for me, but like I say, take a token or two and practice it, but sneaking in there for the hole-in-one. Going with a Titan here for a cheaper eagle, maybe an albatross. I got very close actually. 5.8 top spin, 1 left spin. Red ring touching the rough on the left with APOC 5 and 6 at the top of plus 4. And APOC 4, you'll have 20% of the red ring overlapping the rough on the left at the top of plus 10. Adjust max plus 5 on this one, max plus 5. If you want to make the drive easier, you can use a Kingmaker, but you don't have to. Will give you a slightly steadier needle, particularly with APOC 4. As you can see, there's just a little bit of headwind element to the crosswind. Full overpower, it is going to shake a little bit. If you want to go for a higher power ball to make the needle steadier, of course, that is your decision and your call whether you choose to do so. But try and hit perfect. Going to do the hop, skip and the jump over to around 370 yards. Second shot, your top spin may vary, but in here I'm going with 2.8 top spin, 1 bar right spin, white ring touching the rough on the right at max. Ball guide you could see there going onto the green, but do try and get a visual reference there because you can't have it going to the pin. You need to have it short, otherwise you'll come in too hot. Sniper 9, you'll be a bit shorter, so I would add more top spin to compensate. Try and replicate the ball guide though. Tweak the spin if needed. Max plus 20, and we're doing 2 pulls over the bullseye. I'm very close here. Like I say, I'm not really expecting the albatross, but it's nice to get close with only a Titan. If you want to tweak it, you can do. If not, follow the instructions, execute correctly, and you've got a very safe eagle on this tough par 5, and you've not spent a kingmaker. If you like the stuff here on the channel and want to keep it free for everybody and support the channel as well, you can do so from as little as a few dollars per month. You get early access to plenty of content. You get elevation sheets for Tour Play, Checkpoint Challenge, and also win charts released at the start of each round so you can plan ahead. Plenty of other perks. We'll discuss more of those later on, but head over to patreon.com/BK Golf Clash. Now this wind angle has tempted me into a precision ball rough bump. If you don't like it, play safely, max backspin or near to max backspin with the rocket and a navigator. Take your birdie. But if you fancy it, here it is. Yellow ring touching the rough and the fairway in both parts. So the bottom left and bottom right of the yellow ring touching those rough lines. Then we add spin to get the ball guide to the pin. It's going to be around 4 backspin and 1 left spin. But always use the ball guide as the reference. So when you're setting your spin, have the tip of the ball guide and the cup in vision on your screen. Min -5, power 4 settings, pull over the bullseye. I recommend the precision ball. If you hit a great ball here, you risk a glitch roll and you may well end up in the rough at the back of the green. So play with caution. Only play this one if you are absolutely comfortable and understand the risks. Final part of the equation, and very crucial, 2 clicks of underpower. So go for a small gap between the bottom teeth and the ball. If you forget to do that, again, you risk getting a glitch roll. So proceed with caution. There's all the information you need. If you fancy it, go for it. It's a decent chance. 1-to-1 drive here with the rock. Going to lay up once again and then go for the Goliath. Half a bar of topspin, 3 bars right spin. Red ring touching the rough on the right, top of +6 with the rock level 8, top of +5 with the rock level 9. Then we just 1-to-1. So 8.4 wind. We're going to play this one 8.4 rings. And because there is a crosswind going right to left, I just counter that with a little bit of right curl. So I go with inner wall curl to the right. No overpower, but just find that inner wall curl. It's just a couple of clicks when the circle breaks. Hit perfect, and this will lay up very nicely on the fairway pad and shouldn't risk any glitch rolls or the rough if executing correctly. We're going to be looking at a drive distance of around 315 yards. Now here it's important to add spin and make sure you're not in a glitchy spot. I go with 2.1 top spin and half a bar of left spin. It may need to vary depending on your drive. But look, I'm moving around there. If you find that the ball guide suddenly flicks to the back of the green, respin and find yourself a better spot. But this has been working nicely for me. Now, there's no landing position, so I quickly make a reference check here. There's your spin again. 2.1 top, half a bar left. Rough line check I'm doing here. And +2, bullseye over the rough line in line with the pin. +2, I'm playing it 78% slider, 0 elevation. Okay, 78% slider, 0 elevation. Pull over the bullseye here. Like I say though, it's all about finding a consistent point. Make sure you are not in a glitchy area, because if you are 1 click off either way with your execution, then you're going to find the rough. So proceed with caution on that one, word of warning, but setting up well and in a good spot, you've got a very good chance for the eagle here, catching the rough very nicely and dropping right at the pin. Time to go aggressive here. APOC 5 and above, top of +24, and you've got the inner ring there touching the second rough line. 4.5 top spin and 2 right spin. Now if you've got APOC level 4, you'll be at +30, which is P5 max rest, and you'll have just a thin amount of the inner green ring touching or overlapping that darker rough. So make sure you get the right position here. Again, this is aggressive. If you don't fancy it, then of course just play yourself safely over there and secure your eagle. But I actually think there's a good chance of an albatross here. Max +15, power 5. Then I'm pushing up here. It took me out of plus yards on the drive, but for this wind strength, I push up 15 yards. So to the top of +15. If you've got different wind strength, you may need to tweak that. So take a token or two and get a feel for how this shot reacts. 0.8 ball right curl, full overpower. It's going to be a slower needle, especially with APOC 5 and above, but we're catching the middle of that fairway pad, or just before the middle, and rolling very nicely down the fairway here, 435 to 440. Making a pin check with the Grizzly, plus 11 with Grizzly 9 would be plus 14 with Grizzly 7 and 8. Then I'm adding spin. 3 top spin and 1 right spin. I'm going for the rough bump. I believe this is a very good chance for an albatross, but I would recommend you take a token or two just to refine it and put some tweaks in yourself. So adding a spin, ball guide there pointing to the cup as shown. This is a tweak on the notepad. This was my first attempt. Second attempt, I great balled it, but I do believe a perfect would have been in, but then ran out of time, so I had to go with this. But the value on the notepad I think should get you in, or I hope it will. Plus 11 pin check, playing it 44% slider, 0 elevation, 2 pulls over the bullseye. Try and be as accurate as you can when you're adjusting this one. Down the slope and into the sand, but don't worry about that one, it's still going to be fine. Grizzly 9 numbers, final part of the equation. Centre the ball and hit perfect. Speed is good. Obviously the adjustment I made in the video is slightly different to the one on the notepad. That is a tweak, and I hope it will get you in for a lovely albatross on this par 5. Here we're going to set up with APOC, and then we will need the sniper for the second shot. APOC 5 and 6, red ring touching the rough on the left at the top of plus 5 yards. Then we add 5.8 top spin, half a bar of right spin. APOC 4 will be at the top of plus 11 with 20% of the red ring inside the rough on the left. Then we adjust max plus 10 power 3. Max plus 10 power 3. APOC 4 may go into overpower here, so remember to add that on to your shot. You can see it just takes me to plus 11 there with APOC 5, so it would be a marginal amount of OP with APOC level 4. Our base overpower here is just before the circle drops, plus of course with APOC 4 any you adjust into. Focus on hitting perfect. Top spin is going to take us very nicely here. Over the fairway we clear by at least a ring and a half. Rolling along, and we're going to get to around 350 yards. Second shot, push up before spin with the ball guide in line with the pin, and then we're going for a red rough check, so where the top right of the red ring first meets the rough. You could see that gave me plus 4. Then we add spin, 4 back spin and 1 left spin. I would like you to tweak the aim on this one. This is a really nasty wind angle to play the bounce up shot. Here you can see I'm looking at the second bounce being 1 green square onto the green, and then the third bounce just before the pin. Ball guide missing on the right hand side, so you need to tweak from that based on the miss in the video. Plus 4 for our check with sniper 10 will be plus 6 with sniper 9, and in both cases that will be 70% slider, 15% elevation, and I would like you to use sniper 10 numbers regardless of your club level. Making our adjustment, because we adjust to a lower point here, I applied 2 clicks of overpower. So centre the ball and then drop the ball down by 2 clicks, just to make sure we're not going to lose distance adjusting down near to the bunker. So we just need to tweak the aim a little bit. I would aim slightly more to the right, just taking a 90 degree and out there on this par 5. Going to play with the quarterback here for ball guide and accuracy. Half of the clear ring inside the rough on the right at P3 max rest with a quarterback 9 and 10. Then we add spin, 2 top spin, 2 right spin. Very simple adjustment here. It is going to be 1 to 1. So 8.4 in wind, going to play this one 8.4 rings. If you're worried about hitting a great right, if you are a regular great right hitter, then I would suggest you set up half a ring further to the left, so go clear ring touching the rough. It's up to you though. Perfect ball away, bouncing okay there. On to the next fairway. Drive distance is going to be around 315 yards. I would suggest with this shot you add a little bit of curl, but here we're going to add spin first, and it's 3.5 back spin, 3 right spin, and I'm looking at the tip of the ball guide here. This is a nasty wind angle because we've got to adjust closer to the rough and the bunker, but you can see there, tip of the ball guide, 1.5 green squares right of pin, and half a green square beyond. Make sure you pause the video, get a good reference there. We're going to use landing position plus yards, +4 with sniper 10 equals +6 with sniper 9 in both cases. That is going to be 80% slider, 10% elevation, and we use sniper 10 numbers regardless of your club level. Adjusting down a slope here, so try and be as accurate as you can, and then it's time to take our shot. If you're worried about more headwind angle, then you could go with a click of overpower or a click of 2 of overpower. Just take a token, work out what's best for you. But here we just missed to the side, so I would recommend you maybe add a couple of clicks of left curl, but a very, very nice speed on this tough par 4. Now we're going to go with a bounce over here because the rough bump wasn't really working well in the time I had available. We're going with a top of +0 with the Grizzly level 9, a clear ring touching the rough on the left, and then we add spin. 1.1 backspin, and then 3 bars side spin to the left. Grizzly 7 and 8 would be the same landing position, but you would be at the top of +3. Then we adjust mid +20 power 2 settings. Shouldn't need overpower, but in extreme headwind and high wind with Grizzly 7 and 8, you might go into that. So just be prepared. Shouldn't be much though. 0.9 ball curl to the left. Just a little tweak needed here. So build in a couple of tweaks if you want. Of course, you can investigate the rough bump as well, but a very safe bounce over. Just missing a little bit low on this occasion, but tweakable nonetheless. If you do decide to very kindly support the channel over on Patreon, you get early access to plenty of content as well. The latest episode in my club guide series looking at wedges, and also if you've been following my mom's progress through the game, we've got an update on her and where she's at with her club levels as well. So a couple of extra bonus content, early access if you're supporting us over on Patreon. Here we're going to set up at P3 max rest with APOC 5 and above. Edge of the clear ring touching the rough on the right with APOC 5 and 6. Then we add spin. I'm going here with 5.5 top spin, 1 bar right spin, and going to adjust max +10 power 3. If you've got APOC 4, you will need to stretch out 1.7 rings into overpower and then have 40% of the clear ring overlapping the rough on the right. After you adjust with APOC 4 only, you would then push up 1.7 rings. Just before circle drop overpower, hit perfect. Of course, with APOC 4, if you can't push up that amount of rings, you add the remaining amount as overpower. Bouncing over nicely, I want to have the glitch roll here. I've not landed in the rough yet, but even if I do, I know I can still reach with the Nirvana to get the green safely into for the birdie. But all being well, around 388 to 392 yards. Second shot, make a pin check, put the bullseye over the pin, and then add spin once you've looked at the plus yards displayed. We're going with 5 backspin, and I want to set up here with the spin added, of course. In the end, I just back off to about 4.9 just to make sure I don't come in short. So go with 4.9 backspin, inner ring touching the rough, ball guide through the hole by about 1 green square. You can see there, just checking my alignment, ball guide through the middle of the hole. +4 pin check with sniper 10 will be +6 with sniper 9, and in both cases that would equal 65% slider, 5% elevation. Use sniper 10 numbers regardless of your club level. Making our adjustment, then all we need to do is center the ball and hit perfect. We're going to catch the rough very nicely, and then rolling onto the green, and we're dropping this one right at the pin. Very tough setup here, and it will stretch the limits of the shot clock. Start with a Kingmaker, look at the wind strength and put that into your app. Then switch to Navigator, 1 backspin, 1 left spin. Then we find a position with the ball guide here going into that light green square column, a little bit of the yellow ring outside the rough line. You've got to get the sequence right though here. We're going to then adjust with the Navigator ball, but we're adjusting with the Kingmaker wind strength. So you could see there it was 8.4. So I'm adjusting for 8.4 wind, min +25, P4. Then once I've adjusted, and only once I've adjusted, you then switch back to your Kingmaker. Otherwise you're going to mess up the shot. Please practice this one. A very good chance if you get the steps right. Catching the rough really nicely there once we've adjusted and ball swapped, and we're rolling in for a hole-in-one. Very tough shot though, get the steps in order. NMT drive with a Titan here. We are going to go with 5 top spin and 2 left spin. Then we adjust max plus 10, power 3. If you've got APOC 4, you're still going to do NMT, but once you've adjusted, you then push up 1.7 rings to compensate for having less distance than APOC 5 and above. Going with the Titan here, I want a little bit of extra wind push. You can try Kingmaker if you want, but it's untested from me. The idea here is, though, as this is a tough hole to get an albatross on, I'm looking for a cheaper eagle. With the shot here, no curl, but I am using just before circle drop over power. We're doing 2 bounces, hop, skip and a jump over the rough, rolling over nicely onto the third fairway pad around 375 yards. Second shot, I would always set up at the max line, white ring touching the rough on the right. Then we add spin, and the spin may vary here with the amount of top spin at least. I'd say always go with 2 right spin, or maybe 1.8, 1.9, but we want to try and get the ball guide pointing just at the right side of the pin as we're looking at it from that angle. Very tough shot to drop. I had a couple of attempts at this one. This was my second attempt. Sadly, I hit a great left, and in the interests of time, had to move on in order to get the rest of the holes done. But I believe a perfect would have been closer. It would still have missed on the left, so you could tweak it a little bit further if you wanted to with the aim, or maybe a few clicks of right curl. It's up to you really. It's only a Titan, but we're surviving with a nice eagle, of course. Higher power balls, you're going to have a good chance with a rough bump there with a power 5 ball. Great left though, sadly here, but we're still not going to risk the eagle. Rolling onto the green very nicely, you're going to end up with a short putt or a very, very short wedge. Little tweak needed here, and once again on this hole, because I'm really not a fan of it, I'm only going with a Navigator. 7.5 backspin, 1 left spin. Adding spin, and we're looking at the second bounce and also the yellow ring. Yellow ring will be more or less touching the rough, but the interest is on the second bounce. Try and find the right spot here. You see there, it's just at the divide line between the dark and light green square columns. So try and replicate that as best you can there. Like I said, primary focus, the second bounce with spin added, but you can also look at the yellow ring to guide you. Min -5, power 1 settings. For me, that's 6 rings. And then here I'm going with just over half wall left curl. I put a few clicks on too many. I would try half wall curl instead. You're going to be very close, and you may, if you're lucky, get in for a hole in one, and you've only spent a Navigator. What could be better than that on this very difficult par 3? Even though there's brilliant wind angle here, I'm going to lay up again because I cannot stand a glitchy fairway. I cannot stand a glitchy rough around the green. So there is a method to my madness. Red ring touching the rough on the right at +8 with the rock level 8, +7 with the rock level 9, 1 backspin, 3 right spin, 1 to 1 is the adjustment here. So 8.4 in wind, we're going to go 8.4 rings. Nice and simple, don't need the wind up until the second shot. So you can just concentrate on the setup and then focus, of course, on hitting perfect. Not had any glitch rolls here, but as always, if you can take a token or two, put some personal tweaks in, then that will help you, especially on a difficult course like the Oasis here. Bouncing over very safely, approaching the top left corner, drive distance is going to be around 310 yards. Second shot, we need the Goliath once again. You will be out of range with the Grizzly. 2 top spin, 1 left spin. Add your spin and then set up with the ball guide, the tip of the ball guide with my Goliath level 9, of course, may vary for you if you've got different ball guide amounts. Tip of the ball guide just before the beginning of the cup. It's pointing at the pin though. +4 landing position, going to play 90% slider, 10% elevation. Final part of the equation, and all important part of the equation. Pull this one over the bullseye. So 5 rings for me, going from the edge of the clear ring over the yellow to the other side of the yellow ring. So that's 5 rings over the bullseye. 10% elevation on this one, 2% per yard. So if your landing position was +3, you played 88%. Catching the slope very nicely and falling for the eagle on this par 4. Set up with the quarterback 9 and 10 here on this par 5. White ring touching the bunker at P3 max rest. Then we swap to APOC and Cataclysm bag, not the sniper bag. That's a problem here with the setup. I redid the second shot because I was adjusting it to overpower with the sniper. 5.5 top spin, 3 right spin once we've swapped, of course, to APOC. We're going max plus 0. For me, that was 5.8 rings, but you should always check your measurements yourself according to your club level, wind strength and all of that. Once we've adjusted, going with a ball and a half of right curl just before the circle drops as our overpower reference. You don't need to use a precision ball here. I was doing so to speed up the content creation process with my work schedules. Just wanted to eliminate any great balls. Bouncing over very nicely into the rough and rolling out. Around here, drive distance of 322. Cataclysm then, we're going with backspin and left spin. You can see I've got 4 backspin, 3 left spin, second bounce, a good ring beyond the rough. In the end, I go with a bit more backspin, so I end up with 5. Still got that second bounce beyond the rough, though it's just coming in a little bit inside the top of the green. Safely to green shot here. Obviously, you can tweak it if you want a more aggressive look at the albatross. Landing position plus yards plus 1, going with 72% slider, 0 elevation. It is true club distance, so if you aren't in plus yards, you can tweak from there. I go with outer wall left curl here. I didn't need to do that. If you go with less left curl, you will be a little bit nearer for the albatross. The speed's good though. If you want to tweak it, you can do. If not, you're safely on the green for an eagle on this tough par 5. Thanks very much for watching this video here on the channel. If it has helped you in any way, please consider sharing it amongst your friends and clanmates in the game. Join us also on Facebook. Head over there, search for BK Golf Clash and join our free group. Loads of members there sharing shots. Free guides are posted, as well as loads of other great Golf Clash resources. So check us out there. You can join in the discussion and also leave feedback on the game in general. Finally, if you wish to help support the channel and keep the content free for everybody, please consider becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the video description down below. Good luck, see you soon, bye for now.